Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Neurofucked podcast. I am your host, Haley Olivia, and then we have this other host right over here. What is your name?
The other host, Jackson Rosa, and we're so excited to have you today. It's season 2. Haley, are you excited as I am?
I am, but I'm trying not to be as excited while we're filming.
We're trying to tone down our excitement, and it's really hard. It's bursting
I
from
giggle
every scene.
so much.
She's
you
a
know how
giggler.
hard it was for Jackson to edit, and I get to edit this season, so I'm not laughing as much.
Yeah, we're making some changes around here. Okay, let's enjoy the episode.
It's time for Neuro Podcast with your host, Jackson Rosa, that mischievous motherfucker, Haley Olivia, what's your name, girl? You on the spectrum, and Terrence. We've got autism, ADHD, OCD, all the D's. We got stories and artists from all walks of life. It's time to get fucked neurologically.
Under the Lights, the short film, but also Under the Lights, the feature film. He also is a longtime friend, and we made films together. We worked on little music scores together. A very talented guy, and also on the board of the Epilepsy Foundation, and goes on talks. He's Mr. Worldwide of epilepsy. No, he's just awesome, dude, and I want to share him with everyone and share him with the world. So let's give it up for Miles, everyone. Let's give it up for Miles. Okay, cool. Yes, yeah. It sounds like we have a huge audience here. Actually, you guys are good at this. So
all 4 people.
Yeah. So for people that are gonna watch this or tune into this, so give us an intro to yourself, bud.
Hey. It's good to be here. I guess everybody else must have canceled, so this was open. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I've been waiting. I've been waiting for the call. Thanks for having me. Jackson's one of my favorite people I've ever met, and so I'm Miles, and I am a writer and director with epilepsy, and I'm on the board of a few epilepsy foundations, the one here in Northern California and the Cameron Boyce Foundation down in LA. And I don't know, where do you want to start?
I mean,
where should I humiliate myself first?
Let's go back to the beginning. What's your first memory? Was it bright lights in a hospital room, or was it
A guy slapping your ass?
No, wait, what? Wait, what? Okay, never mind. Let's not do the first memory question, and that's where we're gonna go with it. Tell me about your foray into film specifically. What got you involved, and what really spurred your initial passion for making movies?
So, I would say that filmmaking is something I don't recommend to anyone. And
I knew you were going to say this.
Yeah,
Starting strong.
I was warned, and yet I persisted. So when I was a little guy, I would love going over to the friend's house that had iMovie and iMovie HD. Do you remember iMovie HD?
Oh, of course I remember iMovie HD.
It had all the sick effects with, like, you could have lightning shoot out of your hands and stuff like that. They got rid of all that stuff. But I loved editing, and I loved messing around with the pitch of my voice and stuff like that. But I was a theater kid. I loved acting. And so I didn't really put those things together in my head until high school, when we made these little short films. And I really fell in love with it. And what I love about filmmaking is it can't really be mastered. It evolves too quickly. It's too diverse. It's the intersection of all art forms. So if you like exploring, it's easy to love. And so I fell into it, and I got really ambitious, and I felt like I was just making a film all the time. And I didn't go to film school, but I was sort of building classrooms for myself that way, making movies with you and our friends, and sort of expanding the toolbox a little by little.
and so you just fell in love with it, and you just kept making things. I know you had projects you were doing over the summers and stuff like that. You know, we went to the same community college as well. Shout out Santa Rosa Junior College. I love how they just call it junior college and not a community college. Anyway, that's a story for another.
It's humiliating. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, thanks, you know.
Yeah, so I always had a thing where I always wanted to take things to 110%. I was really uninterested in projects that you just do for the sake of doing, you know? So my first project was a long form thing. It was a long movie. And I did it because I misunderstood a teacher when they told me that, you know, oh, well, if you wanted to, you could probably make a longer movie. It would be hard, but you probably could. And the way that I took that was she was being condescending. She's saying, you're a child, you could never make a real movie, right? And so I spent the next several years making this, you know, full length movie. And it was brutal. It was really, really hard, but it was also my film school, and it taught me so much to sort of start doing things the hard way. And I remember going to my advisor and saying, I have 2 scenes left to edit and I don't think I can do it. I've been working on this for so long and I'm so burnt out. And she said, you are going to hate working on this. You are going to suffer. And furthermore, you're going to question why you're doing this at all. But the second it's done, I promise you'll never want to do anything else for the rest of your life.
What are some of the big top 3 items you would say that people just don't really have locked in about epilepsy, like that they just don't understand?
Yeah. So I'll ramble a little bit.
Okay.
By all means.
So epilepsy is an invisible disability. And when you have an invisible disability, I think something that's really unique about it is that you can choose, if you are, you know, neurotypical, in quotes, passing, you can choose whether or not you want to expose yourself. And it's a debate within yourself whether or not you want to take the risk either way. Do you talk about it openly, outwardly, all the time, and hopefully you get treated with respect and get the accommodations that you deserve? Or, you know, are you suddenly treated worse because now everybody knows and everybody has questions? Or do you hide it and hope that everybody treats you as quote unquote normal, and then when you do need to be treated a different way, you're not? Or the secret comes out and everybody doesn't know how to deal with it because they didn't know, right? Mm-hmm. So that's something I think people with epilepsy definitely relate to. It's something that epilepsy is incredibly diverse. No one person with epilepsy is like another. There's more than 40 different kinds of seizures, and it's sort of like there's many reasons why a person might cough. There's not one condition that's just for coughing, right? You could have a frog in your throat, or you could, you know, have cancer. So
it's always the quick jump to cancer. It's always that WebMD search away from cancer.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a very isolating condition. And I was working at a camp for kids who have seizures, and I was really struck by how many kids, totally regular kids, they'd say they'd never made friends before. And there was nothing wrong with them. They were just treated poorly because they were different, or because people didn't understand their condition, and also judged for seeming normal. And then, you know, if they do talk about it, they seem whiny, or they seem, you know, exaggerating, and so they get ostracized. And what really struck me was a lot of the time when they talk about how lonely they were, or how beat up they were, or how much they were suffering, it really wasn't the seizures they were talking about. They were talking about the social element. And I thought, that's something I could work on, because I can't make a cure happen. That's somebody else's gig. But I had rejected the idea of incorporating epilepsy as subject matter into my art because I felt like that was cheap. You know, I thought, oh, that means I'm virtue signaling, or oh, that means that I'm, you know, using identity politics to, you know, build myself up. And I was totally misunderstanding the point that art is really not worth making. Seizure, neurofucked. So I totally misunderstood.
I was gonna say, like, that should probably be one of the taglines.
Yeah, hashtag. So what I was failing to understand was that art is really pointless unless you're doing it for a reason. You need to have something to say, or else the art falls flat, no matter what it is. And so the moment I decided to make something sharing the way that this made me feel, and furthermore, making art that was not really for me, it was for something much bigger than me, I found a lot of purpose, and it started to undo all of these negative feelings that I had about my condition and gave me a great deal of purpose. Suddenly it actually mattered that I made art. It mattered that I existed. It mattered that I kept going. And while I always had did a very good job of, you know, keeping a positive attitude, and fortunately I'm not someone who has ever really struggled with chronic, awful, can't get out of bed level, you know, feelings, I very much started to feel like the time that I had lost to my condition, the sacrifices that were made, the things that, you know, were total L's in my life were for something, and they were worthwhile. They were an investment worth making. And so, you know, I think that it led me to rethink how epilepsy fits into my story.
No.
Nice.
Well spoken, like a person that knows how to speak. So.
I've been speaking about it since the age of 2 or 3. So
you know what? Well, the thing about Miles I want to point out to everyone is Miles has always been a legitimately good public speaker. Mm-hmm. To the point where I believe one of our like professors that we had way back said that you were like a car salesman of filmmaking. Or you're just like, I don't know how to take that, but like, no, just the point that you understand, you're a very good communicator, which is important when you're a writer or when you're a director. But the fact that you've also turned the purpose into speaking gigs. Another thing I wanted to bring up to everyone that Miles just published had a recent TED Talk. That was pretty awesome. Yeah. Oh, we don't have to clap for everything, you know. No, no. I wanted to say it's a big deal, and it was a very, very touching story from his TED Talk, and so I'm gonna link it in here. I'm gonna point to a link right here. Go click on it.
Hold on.
Yeah. Oh wait, that's right. You guys done it.
It's I would say, like, I don't know, in the description.
Well, no, I'm gonna put it here, and then when you finish the rough cut, I'll help you superimpose something here.
Okay.
I at least promise that.
Thank you.
Pointing to the thing. It's the shimmering thing. So anyway, so Miles had a TED Talk.
It's called "Why You Should Give Up on Your Dreams."
Oh, okay. So just all right. That's a positive way to start the TED Talk.
No, but you gotta watch. You gotta watch it to know.
I'll watch it.
It's the best clickbait title I've seen.
I mean, it's a good eye catch. A good eye catch. It is a good what's the word? Catchy title to watch, because I would probably watch it, honestly.
Well, you should. I'm going to force you.
Not probably. I will watch it.
I'm going to force you. I'm going to do Clockwork Orange style, force you guys to watch it, you know.
You guys can't see this, but Jackson actually has a gun pointed directly behind my back.
Yes, exactly.
I'm constantly in stress.
He's got a Glock on him, and I got someone with a scope right over there.
Yeah, they're on a sniper.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great.
He's like, I will watch it. I promise. No, but So a lot of public speaking events, and recently been going around different places and conferences and speaking on epilepsy awareness. Correct? Tell us a little bit more about public speaking, and how you feel about it, how you got into that side of things too.
Yeah, it really was the last thing I expected to be doing, and now I love it. I love my weird job. When I remember being in my doctor's office and being asked, do you want to go to epilepsy camp, or do you want to be involved with, maybe you should volunteer for the Epilepsy Foundation? And I said, fuck that. That sounds terrible. Why would I make this my identity? And I came to realize being a part of something bigger than yourself is the most human desire. And feeling like it, again, like I said, feeling like it matters that you get out of bed is and so I realized that being a part of something bigger than yourself is what it means to be successful. And in our culture, we're taught, be successful. We want our children to be successful. We don't really explain to them what that means. We loosely have this idea that has something to do with maybe being rich or maybe getting recognition or things like that. And my journey has been one, especially a person in the arts, we're taught to focus on those glittery golden things, and they're fleeting if they happen at all, and they're someone else's decision, and putting your goals in someone else's hands is a really dangerous thing to do. And so I ended up speaking about my condition, or the needs of the community, or the lack of representation of epilepsy in cinema. And in doing so, I ended up on stages making my epilepsy useful. I ended up a person who gets called upon all the time. I have a full calendar of all these places, to go and speak on this, and it's become my job to be a public speaker.
Would you say that you're now epilepsy Jesus? Is it?
Yeah, epilepsy.
I mean, to be honest, he's got the beard down. All he needs now is like.
I look more like the Jesus on your mother's wall than the real guy.
No, Haley can always see on my face when I have something very pressing to say. I'm about to crack myself up because I'm listening to you at the same time, but I really badly want to say.
He really wants to say.
I hesitate here and there to actually say something because I don't know you as well as Jackson, so I'm kind of just picking and choosing my jokes here and there because I don't want to be that guy yet and says something completely off the rails.
Miles has a really solid sense of humor, so but
yeah, I mean, we bonded over South Park, so
there you go. See, that's a good start.
That's one thing.
So the speaking engagement, so you've been booked for a lot of stuff with that, which is super cool. The thing that I think it's one of those things that people fear the most, right, is public speaking, and I think it's ever since I've known you, you've been good at that. I would probably want you to write my eulogy. You'd probably want Miles.
I would love to write your eulogy.
Yeah, exactly. We could have a pre-funeral. But I think that the point is that that's a skill set on its own. So it's funny to me that you realized it was that. But I do think even in starting this podcast, there was a underlying fear if I had put too much investment into this, that if Pitchfork writes or Variety writes an article about me in the future, Jackson releases XYZ album or this thing or whatever, autistic artist releases album.
Yes.
Right? I'm just oh, Jesus Christ. I don't want that. I don't want it to be the tagline of anything. However, what you said about building community and having it be a part of something, no matter what the scale, it could be the Church of Autism, I don't, I'm not saying this should be a cult or anything, but what I am saying is that you have, I don't know, my mind's just on cults right now. I've been watching too many documentaries.
Oh boy.
But the thing is that I don't go to church, I don't go to temple, I don't go to any of those things. I don't really form a community like that other than the friends that I make, right? So if you don't, you're kind of building out a network here of people that have kind of similar stories and can reflect on these things. So same as you go into these conferences, you know, you're building a community of people that feel understood by these stories, feel like they're not completely isolated from existence, you know.
Have you ever had someone come up to you during one of your, I guess, speeches and say, "Oh, I really connected to all of your experiences," or anything like that?
Every time.
Wonderful.
Every time. And I feel like I'm always seeing, I mean, it's amazing. Like, when do short films get fan art? It's crazy, right? But it shows how powerful that is to people, to feel seen, you know, and to feel less isolated because you did something or said something. And to Jackson's point, I definitely have had that moment where I go, ugh. Like, if you type, and it's gotten to the point where now if you Google me, right, two things come up. The filmmaking comes up, but the epilepsy also is everywhere. And I remember, in dating and stuff like that, I would worry about that I would want someone to dig up that, I make movies and that's cool. Oh, he has this condition, he's got this disability, right? I don't really want that to be the first thing that people think about when they think of me. However, it has made such a difference that I've been public about it that I think it's been very worthwhile that, the Variety article is all about that, you know? And it might not have been how I would have envisioned a filmmaking career, but it has quietly made a difference. And I'm willing to make that sacrifice. And if I need to do a hard rebrand at some point,
Yeah, you'll hire the best marketing PR firm to wipe everything off.
Epilepsy.
I suggest hiring the marketing team that did promotion for Final Destination, because that was perfect.
Oh yeah,
it was actually on the wooden truck, because they were advertising for the new movie, and everyone, their mother.
Remembers those scenes from with the log trucks.
Yeah.
No, I mean, maybe not the best epilepsy comparison.
It's not, but I'm just going with the marketing. All right.
Guys, can I say something?
Yeah.
But going back to, can you hear me, Miles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to you talking about how you're searching yourself up and epilepsy comes up and things like that, especially in your dating life. I know I've had that worry. I know Jackson has brought that up.
I was worried that this podcast.
Had that worry of having a podcast that highlights being autistic and things like that, and it kind of forced us to fully accept ourselves. So, did you experience that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm able-bodied passing. So I have a choice. Mm-hmm. And now I have fully committed to a choice and there's no going back. But I don't regret it because I have so much pride and purpose around, these projects. Right? And so that is I'm more than happy with that. And then to Haley's point, something else that happens is it's very therapeutic to get comfortable being on that side of the fence. And at some point, it's not really something I think about anymore. I very much feel accepted for who I am, but I think that required me developing. I was always pretty confident that nobody would judge me. I think I started with a really naive attitude, but it insulated me to practice it. And so I don't think I'll ever feel vulnerable about my condition again.
Yeah, that's awesome, Miles. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I think it's good for people to know that. And so was joking that, like, partially joking that when I start this podcast, it's gonna be a major cock block, you know, because it's like we're talking about things that are fairly, like, vulnerable and dive in deep, and that's not always gonna be. That's actually very attractive to a lot of people, to be that open and vulnerable and to figure out and to know these things and to know these topics, and be able to speak eloquently about it. But yeah, that's one of those things where. And then I had to think about it. I'm like, I've been with some beautiful women. It's never been a problem. It's only a problem if you make it a problem, or if you come across that you're insincere about it. You know.
Yes.
So yeah, that's awesome. But so I want to go back into Under the Lights. I want you to tell us in the audience about the short and how you turned it into the upcoming star-studded feature film. So. Can you tell us?
You want me to tell you about the film?
Tell me about the film. I know about the film.
I don't know.
Terrence doesn't know much. Haley knows a little bit. But, like, for the audience that's going to watch this, we want to let them know about what, you know, this is. Full stop.
So, the short film that preceded all of this is called Under the Lights, and it's out on YouTube. Very easy to find, and it's about a boy with epilepsy who's so desperate to feel like a regular kid, he goes to prom knowing the lights will make him have a seizure. And it obviously did very well. It's been 7 years since I shot it, and we're still screening it all the time, you know, and I spent the last many years putting the feature together. And so now we have the full-length movie, which will start screening this year, and it has a incredible cast. Lake Bell, Mark Duplass, Nick Offerman, Randall Park, Marin Hinkle, who's the mother in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Amazing. Oh my goodness, amazing. And Pierce Josa, who stars in the short, returns in the feature. So pretty amazing experience for a director to have, for sure.
It's awesome. And a lot of, you know, creatives and filmmakers watch this too. You know, a lot of people talk about, you know, having a festival run with their short and trying to do the short to feature pipeline. What were some of the things that you would tell someone to be prepared for something like that, of that scale?
Yeah, wow. That's a whole different thing for sure on its own, but I think that artistically you have to be willing to let go of the original and accept that when you go from a short to a feature, they're two different art forms. They're two different mediums. You're not just extending the story of one. It inevitably has to be allowed to step outside of what the original is. And that was hard to do because the short did very, very well. And so I wanted it to just be a scene in the feature, and it wasn't that easy. Making a full-length movie is a gargantuan, superhuman effort, and takes more than a village. And I was really lucky to have some wonderful collaborators to do it. But nobody's coming to save you when you set out to make a big project in any medium. You have to let go of the idea that, especially in film, that is sold to us, is that, you know, if you're special, if you're unique, you're good in a room, whatever, people are going to come and want to sweep you off your feet and fund your movie or make your movie or whatever. And that's just not the case. If you want it to exist, you have to want it more than anything. And you have to make it happen. And if you don't have the skills to make it happen, you need to find the people, and you need to learn the skills yourself. And because I did that, I walked away with a lot of new skills. You know, I learned to fundraise, I learned to pitch, I learned to finagle and scheme, you know, and ultimately, you know, make things happen. And that is vital. As far as film festivals go, I think it's, you know, the reminder is ultimately your work is for your audience and not for any one institution. And I think that keeping that at the forefront is really important, because you can't put your goals in somebody else's hands. Ultimately you got to make the work for you, and if you make it for you, then the people like you will like it.
Yeah, so that's great advice, actually, to any filmmakers, because I think that it's really hard for people to understand and engage, even if they are in film in the first place, the amount of work and effort that goes in indie film, and the amount of stress and the amount of like pressure to make things work. My mom came from a writing and producing background, and you've met her before, Miles. And one of the quotes she got from an executive many years ago was, she said, "Making a movie is like trying to keep an avalanche from coming down a mountain. If your vision is at the top of the mountain and it's constantly falling apart, so your job is to keep the snow at the top of the mountain. You're just running around trying to keep, and it's like you're fighting nature, essentially, is what it's saying. You were fighting.
Oh yeah, I mean, there were moments where I felt like I was gonna die, you know, and that was because I had, when you put so much effort into something like that, it becomes your whole identity. It becomes like your first name.
Yeah.
Like I probably say "Under the Lights" as often as I say my own name out loud. Like, think about how crazy that is.
That is so child. Yeah.
And so whenever and that's the nature of it, things shift, and directing is the art. Really, it's less creative than it is just about pivoting, learning to pivot and make decisions. And in those moments where you go, oh no, something might happen, something bad might happen, or the future is unknown, I feel like I'm getting erased. And those moments are really, really scary, but it's also just sort of part of it. They're destined to be those shifts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's it's a massive effort. And so I've seen cuts of the film, so no spoilers or anything. But at the end, everyone dies. No, I'm just so.
all right, cool. At least we know now.
No, just joking. No, it's Tarantino's.
We just cut the second act of Final Destination.
Oh yeah, exactly. You spliced it in.
It's a Shyamalan style movie.
Yeah, in the end, it was actually everyone else that had epilepsy.
Oh, okay. See, now I'm really interested.
It was the epilepsy inside of us all the time.
It lives with us. It just makes things better, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
I know it's terrible advice.
No. We're just saying this is the M. Night Shyamalan version. We don't need to see this cut.
Oh, okay.
We're curious, at least, No, so yeah, I was gonna suggest it's had as a Tarantino style shootout at the end.
Oh my god!
That fit the movie perfectly. It's a coming of age movie.
Yep, about a boy and his dog.
Exactly. So, but yeah, no, I think that it's very good, coming of age story. So I can't wait for everyone to go see it once it premieres or once it hits different places, and does its run, and makes it to services. I can't wait. I said services. We don't know where. There's certain we don't know where it's going. I don't know, but I know that it's going to be on somewhere.
It's going to go to one VHS copy, and everyone's going to have to go to.
I'm hoping for Apple. I'm hoping Apple, TV buys a distro. I think that it has a high potential to get distributed properly by a really good distributor. So, my fingers are crossed, for that happening. Obviously, I want to make sure, and I have partial part of the soundtrack is me, so I'm a little biased. Right. Because I want it to get, I want this thing to go far.
I want some of the credit.
Yeah. No, well, I just want to make sure it actually reaches the most amount of people possible. Yeah, exactly. I want to make sure my friend Miles is successful.
Oh, that's the cover up. All right.
It's all a massive scheme. Yeah, you're right. Yes.
It's okay.
I don't know if I buy that.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it too. One more question that I've kept forgetting to ask you is, like, what are some, and this is for the other filmmakers and artists out there, what are the realistic challenges that they should be open to when they're trying to make a indie that's potentially going to be a feature in this industry?
Yeah, well, I think that you need to make each project without looking forward too much, you know, because otherwise it just ends up being a trailer for something else, which, you know, that is a way to do things. But if you're gonna go bother to make something and it's gonna be challenging to do it well. And the best art comes from the journal entry you would never want someone to read. And, you know, that's what my short was for me. And if you can push yourself to put that on paper, and you can be brave enough to put it out there, the risk that it will be bad is very, very slim. That level of risk tends to transcend and be understood. And it's also something that good actors want to do, right? They want the opportunity to be in good roles, and creatives want to be a part of things that are bold. But if you are not honest with yourself, or if you protect it too much and you just, you know, sort of lowball it, it's not going to be as good as if you take a personal risk. And if you take that personal risk, you're going to feel better in the end, right? This has really paid dividends emotionally for me. Like I said, having purpose in life is a pretty good outcome. So the other thing is that no amount of shorts, I think, can really prepare you for making a feature. It is a totally different thing, and I think it is really easy to say, oh, well, I've been doing this for a decade or 2 decades. There's just something new that comes along when, you know, you have something that is involves so many more people. And you know, I think that you really have to want it.
Yeah.
Because the one of my producers has a quote that I think is great. It's something like, the most, or maybe he co-opted it from somewhere else, I don't know, but the most natural state for a movie is to be unmade.
Yeah. It's everything that sits on the shelf. I mean, think of all the songs that have been written that just never saw the light of day. The label shelved them, you know. So I think that, you know, I think that's true. And I think also being able to, you worked on this project for so long now as well. I'm sure you're very excited to show it to the world and feel like there's an the thing that, like, you needed to do was, you know, you get the premiere of it, right? Because that's like a huge build up, because it's taken so much time and love, blood, sweat, and tears and energy. So I think that that's going to be a nice relief to also have it done, because you put all that energy in it, but you want to see the fruits of it. But you also want to understand that there's a punctuation mark you can put at the end of that okay, this is done, this is the final movie, this is the thing. Frees you to do your next big thing. Now,
in a way, but I think what's unique about this is that it's become who I am in such a big way that it will be my job for a very, very long time to be out there talking about it and screening it and whatnot. It's I mean, again, the short, realistically, if it was like other shorts, it would have lived and died within a year. But because it was for somebody and about because it's for someone, it's a service to provide. And I think that thinking about your movie as a service is really important, because if it's something that is, if it's a verb, then it's repeatable, right?
Is it mass movie as a service?
Say that again?
That's a tech industry pun. Mass movie as a service.
Movie as a service,
yeah.
right? Every time I go and I screen it somewhere, it's for, communing with the group of people that's in the building at that moment. And ideally, if I'm lucky, I will get to do that for many, many years to come. Now, if people hate the movie, then it will be great press. I'll probably get to do that even more.
Yeah, okay, I see what your angle is here. Well, yeah, it's like, here's the thing. This is my perspective. Anyone hates the movie, anti people with epilepsy.
I think they're just jealous.
I think that they're degenerates, and I'm just joking. No, it's like you could go on you're not going to do that, obviously. But like the point is that like people will see the movie, take the movie at face value, and what you said originally, which was really a good perspective to have, is this movie is for your fans. This movie is for the people that it's for, and then anyone that can learn something from it, anyone that attaches themselves onto it, it's going to be a bonus. But I think it's going to hit the people it needs to hit, and my hope is that it gets beyond that. You can only hope. The right person, really, you just need the right person, the right people to see the film and be like, you need rich white people to cry and open up their wallets, and that's how you get ahead in this business. So on that note,
all right, please, rich white people, give him more money.
Yeah, but like it's in order: cry, open up their wallets.
Yeah, and then cry again, and then again open up that wallet.
I'm sure. Also, I would like to add, Miles might be, a year from now, I bet Miles will have to charge us for the speaking arrangement here, because this is he's going to be too successful. He's going to be like, well, that podcast appearance, you guys got to pony up the cash.
I'll start writing up 1,000 IOUs.
We're going to be in debt trying to get our next guests. No, I'm just joking. We won't. We won't do that. But it was so nice having you, bud. Miles is an incredible filmmaker. Go check out Under the Lights, the short. Search Under the Lights on YouTube. We'll put it in the description. We're going to make sure that you see everything he has to offer in our links, the TED Talk as well. And yeah, thanks for coming on, bud.
Great having you.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah, we did the thing. Okay, cool.
Woo! For Cinematic Jesus.
Yeah.
Woo!
I did say epilepsy Jesus.
Yeah.
Epilepsy Jesus. All right. I love that title.
No, Jackson said that earlier.
Oh, okay. Well, he can say it.
Yeah, he can say it. Yeah. I put a label on him.
Yeah, they worked it out in post.
We did the I don't know. I personally like it. I think your next movie should be called Epilepsy Jesus.
Yeah, do it. I'll share the shit out of that, honestly.
Yeah, Jesus Christ Superstar 2.
With epilepsy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
the epileptic reckoning.
Maybe that's why. I mean, there's actually historically they think that a lot of these prophets and stuff that they had epilepsy, and that's why.
I think they really had autism.
I think that's where the miracle came from.
Yeah.
That makes
They're like,
sense.
Jesus was maybe autistic.
Yeah. He wasn't a white dude in Kansas.
He wasn't. Superman was a white dude in Kansas. Bringing it back to Superman. No, yeah. Jesus. I mean, we all love our six-pack. Football loving Jesus out here. Okay,
but with that,
we already technically ended it. This is just like extra footage lodged at the end. So
it's important.
Oh yeah. Any parting words, Miles, for the fans?
Any parting words? Goodbye.
Okay. That's good enough. That's a wrap. And cut.
That's a wrap, kids.
And cut. Print. Get rid of me.
Get rid of me. Where's the gun?
I love that sign. It's so cool. I'm afraid to know what that costs, but I want one.
$10.
Yeah, not super expensive.
I keep referring back to the wood, not the sign itself.
Let me.
The whole thing is the size.
So we can end the call if you. Thank thank you so much for tuning into the Neurofucked podcast. We're so grateful to have you here, and subscribe to us. You should do it on all platforms, Spotify, YouTube. We're going to also be doing some cool content where we're sending us out into the field and having some field days where we're just out there in these streets being autistic. Haley, do you have anything to add?
Being autistic. Well, I think that also leads into a good point is what is autism? What is neurodivergency? What does it look like? Breaking those stereotypes. And yes, there's a lot of different versions of it because it's a colorful spectrum, and we're here to explore that.
And we're so excited you get to explore it with us.
Yeah.
Subscribe, and we'll put a little donation link. If you want to support the podcast, we're going to start accepting donations.
Please.
Porridge, please. You have some porridge?
Some porridge.